What's up, Dragon Brood? So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. As I was busy over the weekend, being involved kind of behind the scenes with some commentary stuff for the Players Tour Final, I actually didn't get to see the announcement that Mark Rosewater put out for the San Diego Comic-Con at home, where he was talking about the upcoming Zendikar release for Magic the Gathering. So I decided I would do a live reaction video. So I'm going to watch this video and y'all get to see kind of my reaction to whatever it is that he says. I tried to avoid all the stuff about it on social media so y'all get an honest reaction. But first, the one thing I want to say is, as always, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and help us raise the numbers for the channel. But yeah, like I was saying, this seems like a big announcement. I don't know what all's in there, so this will only be probably, I think, the second reaction video I've done on the channel, but figured it could be fun, so let's just see. For those of you that don't know or hadn't seen the announcement, I guess you get to watch it with me. I will be skipping through stuff a little bit, so if it looks like there's kind of a dead period or we're just going long about a particular item, I'm going to go ahead and skip over that and get to the next thing that may be in the video, because it looks like it's a 30-minute video, so I don't want to make it quite that long if I can avoid it. But anyway, let's go check this video out. Okay, so we got it all queued up. Let's get in here and see what we find out about the upcoming release.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Comic-Con. Now, this isn't the Comic-Con that I'm used to, but we'll make do. So, I am Mark Rosewater, head designer for Magic the Gathering.
All right, so I kind of want to stop there and say two things. Like, first off, I had the opportunity to work at Wizards for a bit, and when you work with Rosewater, you can find out that that's literally just how he is. Like, he's loud, he's boisterous, he's always energetic, and he's way into Magic. Like, we all kind of jokingly kind of refer to Magic as like his extra child. So yeah, if y'all ever wonder if this is just an act, like, no, this is actually who he is. Interestingly, they sent him a thing that had his nameplate on it, which I thought was kind of funny.
And I'm excited to do the Magic panel. So it's just me, but I'll make up with extra excitement. So, okay, so today, for the very first time, we get to talk about Zendikar Rising, the September set that's coming soon. Okay, so before we get to the set, I want to give a little setup. I want to talk a little bit about how Zendikar got made. So, sort of the behind the scenes story of Zendikar.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I'm sure this is interesting to some people, but this is more of just like to find out what's coming out and react to that more than kind of how the sausage gets made, so to speak.
I remember Matt Place, which was one of the developers, I used to say, I want a set where land matters. And he goes, oh, unlike all other sets where land doesn't matter. And anyway.
Another fun story there where you mentioned Matt Place. I actually remember chatting with Matt Place on, this tell my age here, but on AOL, and through their little instant messenger service. And amusingly, I believe he actually went by Placemat was the name he used on there. So just funny old history.
Okay, first up, Zendikar Rising is a land set. It is. That's what Zendikar is.
Okay, that's pretty exciting.
And it's very cool. And so there are a lot of cool lands. I
felt like we didn't get a lot of that.
But there are a lot of cool lands. But I can't tell you about two things.
I will say, I feel like that was kind of one of the shortcomings of the last Zendikar, Battle for Zendikar, I think it was, and Oath of the Gatewatch, is they didn't feel enough like Adventure World like the first Zendikar did, where you had a bunch of stuff about the adventurers and, land matters, and the landfall mechanic being really important. I felt like a lot of that was missing when we went back to Zendikar. So it's cool to hear that we're making that a thing in Zendikar Rising.
One is full art basics return. It's a staple of Zendikar. Every Zendikar's had them, and they're back, and they're beautiful. The second thing is...
Okay, so on the first thing, I'm a little let down by full art lands. I think we've gotten to the point that we've just done it so much that they lose a lot of their flavor. The fact that we've gotten them in multiple collector's boosters, we've gotten them in a couple of sets recently. They've been in some of the special sets. I think we've got some with, I think one of the secret layers had them. And the ones from Theros were just the kind of constellation thing with the big mana symbols, right? So we've gotten them in a whole bunch of varieties that I think as a bonus they're kind of played out a little bit. I mean, it's cool if it's just added into the pack, doesn't really matter. But I almost feel like we're at the point that we should almost just make all lands full art at this point.
Many years ago, all my stories start with many years ago. I made 6 dual lands that I was very proud of, that I thought were really cool. And I've been trying to get them into a set. And finally, I'm happy to say that in Zendikar Rising, my 6 dual lands finally find a home. And I think you guys will really like them.
Interesting that he says 6.
Okay, also, there's a brand new mechanic in the set that takes a really popular theme that I know players like, and it twisted in a new way. It's sort of, what we did is we brought it to Zendikar, and it's kind of made it more of a Zendikar. We Zendikared it up. And it's really fun, but it's different. And like I said, it's a theme you've seen before, but worked in a way that you haven't seen before. So it's kind of a mix of new and old that I think you guys will enjoy. Also, there are 2 returning mechanics, both of which have previously appeared in a Zendikar set.
All right, assuming one's landfall.
Also, a bunch of legendary creatures you...
Oh, so he's not even going to tell us. Like, okay, so the returning mechanic... Like, here's my concern with the returning mechanic that's going to be like a slight spin or whatever, is I hope it's not like Morph, right? Where we got Morph, then we added Megamorph, but Megamorph was just Morph with more words whenever it unmorphed, or whatever the term is we use. So, if it's like that, I'm a little less excited. Now, for the keywords coming back, like I said, I hope one of them's landfall. Because I have a big belief that we should be making fewer keywords and just finding new ways to use old ones where we can. And then that allows people who already have theme decks or commander decks or whatever based around those things to get more stuff that goes in their decks, which is always a bonus. Because otherwise we get stuff like Adapt and Monstrous, which are kind of the same thing, but they're just a little bit different. And because they are, you can't really use Adapt stuff in your Monstrous deck as easily. But if they were all Monstrous, that would have made more players happy. You know, like that sort of thing.
Love from Zendikar will be back, including one that does get another color. And finally, there will be 3 Planeswalkers, all of which we know. All of them have had at least 3 previous Planeswalker cards.
Interesting. No new Planeswalkers.
So there's no new Planeswalkers. We're telling a fun story, but it's with characters you know. And in characters you know pretty well. Like I said, they have 3 Planeswalker cards in them. Finally, actually, I said finally for the last thing, but this is the real finally.
Well, it's pretty guaranteed that at least one of them's Nissa, because we know Nissa left the Gatewatch to go protect stuff or do things on Zendikar.
I have a lot of cool things to tell you, but I also have some cool things to show you. So one of the coolest things about today is I get to show you a bunch of Zendikar art. Now, I can't show you the full cards, but the art is really beautiful. So let's take a look.
This will be cool. Oh yeah, so this looks like Zendikar. See, like this stuff is fun because it looks exactly like you would expect of Zendikar. Like this looks like artwork from the first Zendikar run, which this would have felt a bit out of place to me a little bit with the Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch. But yeah, I really think this is cool stuff. That's probably just an island. Yeah, these are cool. I dig this. Oh, that was a weird looking kind of ninja character. I don't know what was going on there. It's probably just a forest art, but still sweet. Oh, somebody's fallen into a crevice there.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the art.
We
cool
did,
stuff.
Mark. We did.
That's sort of a little taste of what's to come for Zendikar Rising. Okay, next, when Zendikar Rising comes out, we got a brand new product, and I can tell you all about it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a new
I don't know
kind
if I
of
feel
booster,
great about this.
what we're calling a set booster. Okay, but before I begin, before I even talk about the set booster, I want to say this. This is something additive to the game. What I mean by that is we are not changing anything that exists. Draft boosters, theme boosters, collector boosters. If that's your thing, if that's how you enjoy Magic, when I talk about set boosters, it's not for you, you can just keep doing that. We're not, this is something that is for the people who want it and the people that don't want it. If you just want to keep drafting and love the draft boosters, get draft boosters. In set boosters, we will have 14 cards, 12 of which are Magic cards, and 2 of which are Magic-related cards.
Interesting.
And so
Probably tokens or something.
here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a little tour through the set booster from the slot 1 to slot 14. And then, like I said, we divided them into chapters.
Can't just tell us what's in there.
The Welcome chapter, the Fireworks chapter, the Big Finish chapter, and the Epilogue chapter. And as I walk through, I'll explain the chapters and I'll explain each slot. And as you will see, we've built excitement in along the way. The idea is you're not just waiting for one card. There's many, many opportunities where there's a chance for excitement. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the connected commons and uncommons. So these are the guaranteed sort of normal commons and uncommons in your booster. Okay. There are other slots that can give you commons or uncommons, but these are the ones you're guaranteed every time. And what we did is we didn't have to follow the draft booster. We didn't have to worry about color balance or anything. So what we did is we found interesting connections between the commons and between the uncommons. So the idea was the connection might be they play well together. The connection might be they use a similar mechanic. The connection might be they're the same creature type. The connection might be there's some flavorful that they're both connected to a planeswalker or something. The idea...
That's interesting. You know, they're going to use those slots to basically make cohesive cards that go together in the common and uncommon slot in these set boosters. The interesting thing there is I think this should, realistically, I think for the average buyer, make the theme boosters obsolete. Because the theme boosters are basically, I think they're like 30 card packs, if I'm not mistaken, but they're all cards of mostly one color. So if you go and buy like the black theme booster, you're going to get all black cards. I think maybe you can get a couple of artifacts or something, but it's going to be all black cards. So whatever color it is you like, you just go buy that. But if, I'm guessing, we'll find out shortly, but if these theme boosters are going to end up being significantly cheaper, which I would assume they're going to be by a couple of dollars, and the cards inside are going to work together, and we'll see whatever the other options are. But I'm assuming with there being this many slots and a special thing, they're probably going to be more rares or foils or something. If they are, I think the set boosters could end up being very cool.
The idea is that when you open these up, one of the things you get to explore is get to see why and how they're connected. Now, these are 6 cards. And like I said, always room for excitement. So in these 6 cards, you're guaranteed getting 5 commons, and you always get 1 uncommon. But in these slots, every common can upgrade to an uncommon. So you could get 5 commons and 1 uncommon, or you could get as much as 6 uncommons and no commons. So that's excitement here is you get the connected cards, but you always have the chance of upgrading and getting more uncommons. Okay, so now we move into the next chapter, the Fireworks chapter. So this is splashy, but a little bit of a surprise. You don't quite know always what you're getting. Okay, so slot number 9 is the Headturner slot.
We have titles within titles. This is so unnecessary.
This is a card that looks different from a normal Magic card. In Zendikar Rising, it is either, and this slot is always a common or uncommon. In Zendikar Rising, it'll either be a showcase card, or there's a cool new thing we're doing in the set that I can't talk about, but it's either a showcase card or this cool thing, and always a common or uncommon. Okay, slot number 10 and 11 are the Wildcard Rarity slots. So what the Wildcard Rarity slots are is, it's a slot that could be any rarity. It could be common, it could be uncommon, it could be rare, it could be mythic rare. Okay. And these slots don't count against, you have a guaranteed slot coming, that's your rare mythic rare slot. If you get a rare mythic rare here, or maybe 2, that's just bonus for the pack. That's just extra for the pack.
So you already have the option of
getting the opportunity to get more
possibly
more
2 additional rares.
Okay, next we move into the Big Finish chapter. So the Big Finish chapter is about a little more guaranteed. The Fireworks was a little more random. This is something that's a little bit more guaranteed. So the next slot number 12, is your rare mythic rare slot. Okay. That was the most exciting thing in the draft booster. We couldn't lose that. So this is the slot you know for sure you're getting a rare mythic rare. So every set booster will have at least 1 rare mythic rare. No matter what happens in other slots, you always have that. Slot number 13 is the foil card slot. You are guaranteed a foil card. Now, that foil card could be common, uncommon, rare, or mythic rare. So yes, this is another slot where you could get a rare or mythic rare. And if you do, they'll be foil. As I said before, you have 4 opportunities. You have the 2 wildcard rarity slots, you have your guaranteed rare slot, and you have the foil card slot. Any of which could be, one of which is guaranteed, but any of which could be a rare or mythic rare. So it is possible, I'm not saying it happens a lot, but it is possible, for example, to open a set booster and get 4 mythic rares.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Okay, so finally we move on to the 4th and final chapter, the Epilogue. We're saying goodbye. So that is slot number 14, the final slot, which is an add or token card. It's much like the add or token card you would get in a draft booster, for example. But we like having surprises. So there's a big surprise with this final slot. So 25% of the time, 1 in 4, instead of getting an add/token card, you will get a card from the list. So you're asking, Mark, what is the list? So Time Spiral and Mystery Booster have shown us that the audience really likes digging into the past of Magic. Right now we have 27 years of Magic. And so what the list is we've made a list of 300 cards from Magic's past. And what we've done is they're straight pickups. What that means is they look like they looked wherever we got them from. They're in the frame they were before, the expansion symbol, everything about them is just as they looked. The only difference is we put a Planeswalker symbol in the lower left corner, kind of like the Mythic, the Mystery Booster cards did.
I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Mostly because it just needs a better indicator. I feel like those should just have the set symbol, or we make up a new symbol that goes on them, because I think they need to be more easily identifiable faster. I think when I saw the stuff from the mystery boosters, so hard to collate because you have to look down at the lower left to see the little icon and everything else to make sure you're not sticking something in the wrong pile. Like, I'm sure there's some logical reason, probably from logistics of like not having to redo the frames or put new symbols on or take the old ones off or whatever. But man, just from an organizational standpoint, it's just better to have a new mana symbol or some new way to differentiate them that's just more obvious than the symbol down the lower corner. Additionally, I would say it also adds to confusion when people go to buy, sell, trade cards, because there's going to be newer players who don't understand that they'll just look up a card or they'll look up the set symbol and think it's a thing, even though it's not. I've already seen that happening. So yeah, it's just generally not a good practice. Like, again, I have no idea if anybody from Wizards is even going to watch this video, but that's a thing I'm not a big fan of if it could be avoided.
So anyway, this is a list of 300 cards. There's commons, there's uncommons, there's rares, there's mythic rares, exciting stuff. And in fact, I was allowed to show you 3 cards from the list. So let me show you those 3 cards.
Okay.
Okay, so first up is Muscle Sliver from Tempest. My baby, my first set. So the reason I want to show you Muscle Sliver is to say that there are a lot of fun mechanical things from Magic's past. So we definitely want to honor that. So there's a lot of cool cards that are showing all the cool mechanics that Magic once did once upon a time. Next up is Cloud Goat Ranger. So we picked this card to show you
playable,
to represent
but
the
not
idea
as
that
cool.
We're going to show off a lot of the cool flavor and worlds of Magic's past. So this card is from Lorwyn, which is kind of a little bit of a different style from a lot of other worlds. So one of the things the list will do is we get to show off a lot of the cool creative that Magic has had. The final card I'll show you today is Pact of Negation. And this is a show, lots of surprises can happen. Cards that counter cards when you have no mana up. And so really we want the set to be something that can really sort of shock and surprise people. So it'll be, by the way, it's going to be 300 cards. It's going to subtly change from set to set, meaning some cards will change, but the vast majority will stay the same. So over time, it'll change over time, but you'll get to learn what the list is. And so, and like I said, it's a pretty big list. It's 300 cards. So it'll be something exciting for you at the end of the booster pack.
Interesting.
Okay. So now that I've walked you all the way through the set booster, I just want to talk about a few other things before we wrap up. Okay, number one, the set booster is going to be a little bit more expensive than the draft booster.
That makes sense.
But if let's say you have a certain amount of money to spend, and you spend it on set boosters or spend it on draft boosters, you will end up getting the same amount of rares and mythic rares. And the reason for that is a draft booster, you're going to get one. A set booster, you're guaranteed one, but you can get 2, you can get 3, you can get 4. You can get 4 rares or mythic rares inside a set booster. And that's not counting the list, by the way. And so, there's just opportunity to get more of them. So it's balanced between them. If you buy, like I said, you spend the same amount of money, you will get the same amount of rares and mythic rares. The other thing is the box for set boosters is a little bit different. It's got 30 packs in it instead of the normal.
So that makes sense.
It's a little bit different.
So you keep the price about the same.
Anyway,
if they're $1 more a pack or something.
Hopefully, with me walking through this, I think the set booster is a really cool thing. It's a different experience. If you're somebody who is just opening your packs and not doing anything else with them, you're not drafting or something, maybe you want to give this a try. Like I said, it really gives you an opportunity at many different levels. There's just many different excitement points. Am I getting a signature art card? Am I getting a foil land? Are my commons going, upgrading to uncommons? At every step along the way, what rarity card am I getting? What foil am I getting? There's just lots of, all through the pack that we realized that we wanted to in Zendikar Rising. The answer is no. I'm excited for you. If this sounds exciting to you, please give them a try when they come out with Zendikar Rising.
So yeah, there was lots of good info there. No Eldrazi is nice. Returning mechanics, I'm pretty sure at least one's going to be landfall. So that would make sense. 3 planeswalkers, none of them being new, is kind of interesting, but not bad since we've been to Zendikar before. It kind of makes sense. I think the concept of a set booster is very cool. Like I said, I think they could just push out theme boosters eventually. I don't think that's an item that we need anymore. I do think there's a couple of things though, like do bundles or fat packs, whatever you still want to call them, are they still going to come with any, they're going to come with draft boosters, they're going to come with set boosters, because I think people are going to want set boosters more. So eventually I think you're going to have to change the configuration of the bundles. Right now I think they come with 10 boosters or draft boosters, but nobody really drafts with them anyway out of a bundle, so changing them to a set booster I don't think will hurt that product. So that would be cool. I think that's something we should see. We probably won't see it with Zendikar Rising, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see that change a set or two down the road afterwards. Being able to have boosters that can get you a pile of rares and mythics is neat. Getting a foil in every pack is neat. There was one key question that maybe this will come up in his article. I haven't read it yet. But one key question that didn't get answered was that whatever we're calling the Explorer, the card from the list, are those standard legal? I think that's a big deal. I'm going to assume not. And they're a good spot for them to be able to reprint fun cards for Commander players, casual players, maybe for people that play Pauper and they don't have a good spot for those cards to go. But, is there a case where people are going to be opening boosters that have cards they can't use for standard? Or are we just going to end up with, 300 plus, I guess, 250, so 550 cards that are available in standard? Like that, I don't know, so I'd have to find that out. But otherwise, I will say, Zendikar sounds cool, sounds exciting. The artwork looks like a very cool throwback to the original Zendikar, which is really nice. So I think if you are fans of Zendikar, you should like the direction of this. I wasn't a big fan of, like I said, Battle for Zendikar and the Oath of the Gatewatch. I thought those two sets they were underpowered. The cards weren't very interesting. There weren't enough cohesive mechanics that did cool stuff. I don't know. The only other thing I would say about the special card you can't talk about, the last 2 times we went to Zendikar, we had the hidden treasures, right? Which were like the old cards that they, in their original state, that were, I guess, purchased and added to or something. I don't know. They were somehow added to Zendikar, so you were able to find those in boosters, which was cool. Then when we did this last round of Zendikar, like we said, Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch, we had that was the first that we did the expeditions, right? The lands that had the cool art, the long art with the foil and everything else, and that was awesome. And I would assume we're going to get something like that as well and keep it as a recurring theme for every time we go to Zendikar, this thing happens. So what it's going to be, who knows? I'm sure we'll find out closer to the set. That's still 8 weeks away, I think, before we get to it. So we have time. But yeah, overall, cool announcement. So I'm kind of glad I waited so I could see it. Though I'm still tired. I'm poorly shaven and still wearing my undershirt from earlier. But I just wanted to check that out, make sure I kind of got an opportunity to review it. And that was pretty cool. So I'm glad I did. Anyway, if y'all like reaction videos, let me know, or give me other people or other things I should do reaction videos too. But yeah, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. And that's all I really have for you today. We'll see you next time.